Well, hello everybody. Today's instruction set involves the Fix-Right HVAC repair guide and how technicians should best use it in the field. So we're going to be covering the instructions on how to use it in the field by technicians. Now the focus here is profitability and sustainability within our pricing systems. Now consumers, the reason why they like flat rate pricing is because it's upfront. They know it's the same price their neighbor would have for the same type of repair. Now you can present an upfront itemized price to a customer on a hard copy invoice or on your smartphone or tablet if you're using one of our RazorSync or others field service management software. Now, what's the objective for us as a business and for you, the technician? Well, first of all, when we're out there pricing stuff, we need to have 100% recovery of all the technician's employee costs. So if I'm trying to keep a guy employed 52 weeks out of the year and I'm only 45% efficient, then I need to grab another 0.55 of in my billing to be able to recover that. You know, the average contractor is only 45% efficient. That means 55% of your time for travel and having no work has to be recovered in the pricing system. Plus, we have to recover warranty labor and material support costs. So if we have a failure on a repair or the manufacturer provides us a defective component and we have to go back and do something there, we need a place to charge our time to. Plus, contractors need to be locking in their base. And in the pricing system, we show you how to close 85% of all repair customers to one of your service agreements. And of course, more importantly, we do things safely. So we get our callbacks down to 1 call out of 100 because we follow the manufacturer's startup, test, verification, checklist, and procedures. And repair pricing can allow us to have like 40 to 55% gross profit margin, depending on if they're going to go for a service agreement or not. Why is that important? Well, the average service department is around 35% overhead, whereas projects is around 25%. Construction is a lot lower as a percent of sales. However, in repair, we need to capture at least 35% and a minimum put 5% in the retained earnings bucket. If we don't have a callback, if we don't have any kind of a callback on the repair, then the warranty reserve, the markup on the parts, we get to keep that. So we can drive our net profit in that department up to say 22%. But you can't have callbacks. That's why you need processes. Now, the fixed rate price guide is a complete call handling and pricing system. It includes 99% of all the common repairs. There's a heating section, cooling section, accessories. You can even price up a job if you know the labor hours and the cost of your materials. Right there out of the book as if it was built into your book. And you also have a section for accessories, meaning if you're walking a system, 9 out of 10 homes have issues, let them know what you have for a solution, but make sure you always ask them if you want you to take care of that for them today. We'll go over that more. There's technician notes. Some of the repairs that you're going to be exposed to, other lead technicians before you have written notes to their trainees. You know, if you're a lead tech and you're responsible for others doing good work under your tutelage, then the need for letting them know what to do on certain types of repairs to prevent callbacks is mission critical. If a customer should ask, "Hey, Wendell, boy, that's expensive. What caused it, and how can I prevent this from happening again?" Well, the diagram allows you to, in simple layman terms, because you don't want to get into techie talk with your customer. You want to, so that we have bullets on what caused the failure. Talk about it. And there's bullets on what's the solution. Naturally, one of those, the repair was yours. And then how can they prevent it? And it talks about periodic maintenance. That's why they should have one of your maintenance agreement. Now, because I got to walk the customer, because I got to walk the job to make sure there's no hazardous obstructions or restrictions in the distribution system, I need to make sure that I walk the system and make the customer aware what they have for options. And if they want me to relocate the condenser or repair some insulation, and I know I need 4 hours of labor to get her done, and I know it's $126.32, and in materials, I know what the retail value of those two numbers together, so I can quote that to the customer at the same rates in margins that are built into my book. Now, the labor hours, there's 8 digits in our code. The first 4 digits to the left is where you get your price from. So a 0301 is section 3, repair tasking item number 1. And the 4 digits to the right have an imaginary decimal point right in the middle. So a 0050 is 0.5 hours. A 0075 is 0.75 hours. Now, 60% of our repairs are going to be minor repairs. So a minor repair would have a half-hour diagnostic service charge, half-hour minor repair, and 45 minutes to bring the unit up to factory fresh. So your average ticket for 60% of the time is going to be 1.75 hours billable. Okay, so if you add up the code, you get a half hour for the cap, a half hour for the diagnostic service charge, half hour for the cap, 45 minutes for the startup test and verification. So that's 1.75 hours, and that's a minor repair. That's what you need. Because your average repairs are going to drive up to around 2 to 2.25 hours on average. So like a motor and a cap is 3.75 hours when you have the diagnostics, a cap, a motor, and a recommissioned safety test. You got 2.75 hours. So it's the average is going to be driven up, but your minimum repair should be around 1.75 hours. Now, probably the biggest difference between this pricing system and others that are in the market is that we adhere to the manufacturer's startup instructions. That says, and don't forget, these startup instructions were published more than 20, starting back more than 20 years ago for everything that's ever been shipped. And it says, if you're going to start this up on an install, if you're going to start this up after a modification or after a repair, then you want to make sure that you have clean heat transfer services. It's properly charged, it's properly tuned and calibrated, but more importantly, it was verified safe to turn on and leave on for the homeowner. So it's a very powerful mechanism to make sure you get your callbacks down to 1 call out of 100. Usually is around 45 minutes after. If I look at the average tickets of techs, if they're allowed to do it, without any safety, it's around 0.9 hours on average. Whereas your smallest ticket is going to be 2.75 if you do it right. And if you use performance-based pay because you get off the job, then happy day. But when you offer a 15% discount, and here's a motor and a cap job for 2.75 hours, there's $142.83 that's a discount option for them to sign up for one of your monthly service agreements. So even if you sell them an annual, either way, it's still pretty powerful. But if you want to close 8 out of 10 to a service agreement, then offer the $142.83 for them to sign up for one of your monthly service agreements, say $13.95 a month. So it's a strong closer. Homeowners see that and they want that discount. People don't buy maintenance contracts, but they know they need one. Because if you're coming in twice a year to make sure my unit's running right, that's a peace of mind. I like that. Plus, you're offering it to me at a monthly rate, and I can save $142.83 off today's ticket. Well, that's strong. Okay. But the average consumer will close. You'll close 8 out of 10. I don't care what skill set you have, because you're offering a discount option. It doesn't require selling. And if they accept it, then they get a discounted, off this ticket. Plus, they're in your fold. You'll lock them in. Now, 50%, 5 out of 10 systems that you're going to go see is dead. It wasn't running when you got there. But 98% of the systems will be dead. 5 out of 10 are going to need additional, either increasing or decreasing the refrigerant charge. That's just what it is. You got a lot of hacks out there. So typically you're coming in with a separate ticket. Now, the first ticket, you got authorization to go do the repair. And then you come in with a separate ticket because it's a separate transaction. that you want them to authorize all by themselves. You don't want to lump it in. Like a lot of guys will write on their hard copy ticket a bunch of stuff before and after. Don't do that, because in the court of law, they'll kick it out. Because where did the customer sign up? You can't prove that. So from a transaction standpoint, best practice is you go in with an authorized ticket to proceed with the repair. If there's additional work that needs to be done, that's a separate ticket. Now, in your system enhancement section, you have the tools to be able to quote anything for better control, indoor quality, ductwork fixes, duct cleaning, programmable stat, internet-based stats. You got a whole smorgasbord of things that you can do, because 9 out of 10 homes have issues. 9 out of 10 homes have multiple issues. And the average technician, making customers aware what they have for options with an upfront price, and simply ask, do you want me to take care of that for you today? After they do so, then they close 2 to 3 out of 10 calls, ranging from $300 to $1,500. So, so we do provide you with a proper system survey so that you're not missing your stuff. But the average contractor sees about a 65% bump in quoted work. Not just to repair, but quoted fixes, system fixes, and stuff above and beyond what they for the no heat, no cool. Now, 35% increase in quoted system enhancement jobs via quick upfront pricing. So if I know my labor, so if I know I need 4 hours of labor, and this contractor, the way he's got his financial setup, he's at $843.85 for 4 hours. Okay, so he grabs the 4 hours because he needs that. The material cost. So let's say he has $223. Then in that case, it's closer to $225.75 than it is the $193. So I can go ahead and quote the $225.75, add that to my labor rate cost for 4 hours, and those two numbers combined is what I quote to the customer to do something. Relocate the condenser, fix the insulation. Now, in our price guide, the reason why it's so small is that we don't carry OEM. Because the reason why we don't carry OEM, because when we looked at everybody's flat rate pricing out there for our clients, we discovered that OEM was 45% plus or minus what it really should be for the contractor's area. Because, the flat rate guys, they'll import something, say, off of Johnstone Supply, off a source. I don't want to say Johnstone because I don't have permission. But let's say they import it off of a supply house and they put it into their pricing system. When you go to use it, you may find that you cost you 45% more than what you had in your price in your book, because your local supply house, because of the quantity it sells, is higher. It's because today distributors use hotel type pricing. The higher demand stuff is lower. The lower demand stuff is higher. It's just what it is. So if that's the case, then what I'll do is I'll grab the miscellaneous unclassified, and if I know my part cost is $193.46, then I can go ahead and add $378.88, which is what the table shows me in that miscellaneous unclassified table, that's the material value retail based on my markup scheme to be added to my circuit board, labor only. So it's $577.59 to replace the circuit board OEM. But it's accurate. It's the actual, I find out what the actual cost is of the OEM board, where I'm going to go get it, because I need to know if it's there anyway. So while I'm there, they tell me what the price is, and I can put the retail value on it right there, Johnny, on the spot, and quote it to my customer. Same thing with the materials. Now, in our program, we provide a repair and replace decision chart, a consumer decision chart. So if a consumer wants to know when to repair or when to replace their system, then this user chart you provide to your consumer customer. Typically, I'm walking in with this when I find a repair greater than 40% of a new install. And like Bill said, the first 10 days of the month, we secured 2 jobs for our installation crews. The remainder of the month, we secured 19 jobs. I attribute our amazing improvement to your turnkey service call handling system. But really, it was this tool. This tool, so that my technician doesn't do a repair without letting the customer know that most consumers wouldn't do that. Most consumers would replace it if it's 40% of a new install. Now, one of the things you want to keep in mind when you do a repair, you want to be thinking about reliability. When we replace motors, condenser motors, we always replace the cap. Otherwise, because don't forget that cap, even though it may read well right now, it took a beating. You know, when the motor starts wobbling and do weird stuff, it actually creates harmonics and voltage spikes coming back at the cap. So in a typical motor and a cap job, we have a diagnostic service charge. Now, again, all repairs should have a diagnostic service charge, should have a repair fee or fees, and it should end with a recommission and safety check. And it should always have a big fat discount provided to the customer for them to sign up for one of your monthly service agreements, typically. So this is a motor and a cap. It's got 2.75 hours. So I got a half hour for the cap, an hour for the motor, 45 minutes for the recommission and safety check. Add the half hour for the diagnostic service. So that's 2.75 hours. If I have an OEM board that needs to be replaced, or a motor, in our guide, you're going to be grabbing the OEM labor only, because the boards and everybody's flat rate pricing ranges 45% plus or minus, because distributors today don't use factory pricing. They use their local, almost like hotel pricing based on demand. You know, the higher the demand, higher the price, lower the demand, lower the price, that kind of stuff, or the reverse of that. But either way, I'm going to call the vendor to make sure it's there and get the price. So because I have it, I can go to the miscellaneous and classified and put a retail value for that cost of the part and add that to the OEM price to complete the actual repair. Now, if I have a job where I know I need a couple hours of labor and I know what the material costs are, then I can actually price up work right there in the field at my rates. So I can still apply a 15% discount for them to sign up for a monthly service agreement. Now, the beautiful thing is that if I know the labor, and the labor table goes from 0.25 hours, 15 minutes, all the way down to 8 hours. So if I need 14 hours, that's 8 and 6. So I'll grab the 8 at $1687.70 for this contractor. And I'd grab the 6, which is $1265.78. Those two numbers together make up my labor component for repair. If I walk the system and I find solutions to their customers' problems, then I can state a problem, state the fix, and after I give them an upfront price, I simply ask them, would you want me to take care of that for you today? So let's recap. You want to use the common repair section in the back of the book 90% of the time. And when you do a repair ticket, always include a diagnostic service charge, repair fee or fees like a compressor replacements where you get Schrader valves and all that good stuff. Then you're going to have recommission and safety check is the completion of all repairs. And you should provide a total discount off the total ticket for them to sign up for one of your maintenance agreements. So what are the transaction steps? Well, you're going to present the repaired ticket with the discount option to the customer. You're going to execute a service agreement next. And if they execute the service agreement, then you're going to provide them with that discount. But if they didn't sign, you're going to provide the repair without the discount service agreement option. And then you don't have to come back for 6 months to do your next inspection. So we're going to get paid in advance for 6 months in advance of our next inspection visit. And we're going to have a place to charge your time to during periods when we have no heat, no cool calls, the mid-seasons. So the other comment I want to have about the recommission and safety test, even though we're doing tasking similar to a tune-up, and we provide you with checklists. If you haven't got the checklist, make sure you ask for them. But we provide you with a checklist so that when you do a startup, you're doing it per the manufacturer's guidelines. So that if anything bad ever happens because you didn't start it up right, then that's going to be considered negligence, especially if the insurance company goes looking for your startup stuff and bad stuff happens. So you want to protect yourself as a technician because it's your liability, it's your home, it's your assets that they're going to come after if something bad happens, like a place burns down or worse. Okay. So using startup checklists, that's why we do the recommission and safety test to get our callbacks down to 1 call out of 100. Okay. And you want to be able to beat the hours. So if you don't have a part in a truck, you want to add parts acquisition to go get it. And if you're going to go to carrier, like you're local to us, if we have to go to a carrier and it's 8:30 in the morning and I'm going to be the 8th or 9th guy in line, then I'm going to carry an hour out of the miscellaneous and classified for shipping and handling and restocking, so that I can go get it and cover my time to get it done on this ticket. But if I don't, otherwise I end up underbilling my ticket. I didn't cover the cost for me to go get it, that kind of stuff. That's not free. I got a truck, I got a guy I got to pay, and if he's got to go get a part and select it and then can bring it back and put it in and warranty it and all that, well then that's what it is. Okay, but you want to make sure that you want to make sure you're not underpricing your ticket. So if you have questions about this, we do have a soft skills webinar that we can send you, but this hopefully will help you understand the use and the functionality of the flat rate price guide, fixed rate price guide.